What if you could spend 100 hours exploring secrets the Mayans never ever wanted anyone to see? Well, we're about to dive deep into the jungle to uncover the mysteries of a lost civilization, from sacred temples all the way down to the literal underworld.
Right off the bat, this sentence from the guy just sets the tone for the entire thing. This is not your average museum tour, you know? This is a high-stakes look into places that were sealed off, intentionally hidden for centuries. We are literally going where we are not supposed to be.
So, our first stop is this 2,000-year-old temple, right in the heart of what was once called the Snake Kingdom. And here's the cool part. The journey isn't just across the ground, it's a journey back in time. The deeper they go into this thing, the older it all gets.
The whole thing is built like a Russian doll of history. See, the Mayans didn't just knock down their old temples. Nope, they built bigger, grander ones right on top of them. So as this team is squeezing through these narrow tunnels, they're literally walking backwards through the centuries.
And deep inside, at the end of a tunnel where almost nobody is allowed to go, they find this: a funerary mask, over 1,000 years old, the face of a king. And for the Mayans, this wasn't just art, it was a sacred tool, like a spiritual shield to protect a soul on its dangerous trip into the underworld.
And this quote just perfectly captures how surreal the whole thing is. You got this priceless, sacred artifact, not behind bulletproof glass, but in the hands of a YouTuber. It's this bizarre mashup of ancient history and modern entertainment that really makes you stop and think, what is going on here?
But here's the thing, this temple wasn't just sitting out there alone. It was the centerpiece of a huge, sprawling city that has now been almost totally swallowed by the jungle. It's a true ghost of a metropolis.
The difference between then and now is just staggering. I mean, you look at these jungle-covered hills today, and it's almost impossible to imagine that 1,500 years ago, this was a city of 100,000 people. It had roads, incredible art, giant temples. We're basically looking at the bones of a civilization.
And right in the middle of all this deep, profound history, you get these perfectly modern, kind of hilarious moments. While they're looking at ancient Mayan carvings, one of the guys mistakes a key figure for a llama. It's just a funny little moment that reminds you these are just people seeing all this through our modern eyes.
So, the exploration now takes a turn downwards. Literally. Leaving the temples, the team heads into these sacred caves, which the Mayans believed were more than just holes in the ground. They were portals to a whole other world.
Yeah, for the Mayans, a cave wasn't just a cave. It was a direct doorway to Xibalba, the underworld. And this was a terrifying place, full of gods and spirits, but it was also where they believed humanity first came from. So it's this place of both fear and creation, all at once.
And this trip down isn't just symbolic. It is actually physically dangerous. As they get deeper, the heat is just unbearable, and the air literally starts to run out. They have to use oxygen tanks just to survive down there.
So how deep are we talking? 2 football fields straight down into the earth.
And then, at the very end of a secret tunnel, in the most sacred part of the cave, they meet the final boss. And it's not some mythical Mayan spirit. It's something very, very real. And for a lot of us, probably way scarier. It's like the cave has its own ancient guardian, protecting its secrets.
Back up on the surface, life for the Mayans was just as intense. Their whole society was built on rituals, and that included their sports. They actually invented the first team sport in history, and it combined unbelievable skill with, well, the most brutal consequences imaginable.
The game was called pits. Okay, so imagine trying to play basketball, but you can't use your hands. And it's kind of like soccer, but you can't use your feet. The only way you could score was to somehow hit a heavy, solid rubber ball through a stone hoop way up high using only your hips or shoulders. I mean, it sounds insanely difficult.
But believe it or not, how hard it was to play wasn't even the most intense part of the game. There was one other little detail about how the game ended.
And there you have it. The stakes weren't just about winning or losing. We're talking life and death. This wasn't just a game, it was a ritual. And it's just this gut punch of a reminder of how violent and complex and deeply spiritual their society really was.
All right, for the grand finale of this 100-hour adventure, we're going to the most iconic Mayan site there is, the Temple of Kukulkan at Chichén Itzá, which is one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. This place is famous for a reason. The scale is just mind-blowing, and the engineering is so mysterious. They somehow designed it so that if you clap once at the base, you get this crazy chirping echo back.
But its biggest mystery is at the very top, in a sacred room that is completely off-limits to the public.
So, of course, that's the ultimate question, right? After 100 hours of searching, could the final secrets be locked away in this one forbidden room, hidden from the world for all these years?
To be respectful, they send a drone up to see what's inside. And the answer is, as simple as it is shocking. There's nothing. The room is completely empty.
So why is it empty? Well, the guide gives this powerful history lesson in just one sentence. About 500 years ago, the Spanish conquistadors showed up, and they took everything.
And that's really the final, crucial point. The treasure wasn't lost to time or hidden by some booby trap. It was taken. What was once a room packed with priceless Mayan artifacts is now just an empty space, a silent monument to a history of conquest and just profound loss.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. This whole journey was this incredible mix of ancient mystery and modern entertainment. And it makes you wonder, as we rediscover history through this new, high-stakes lens, what kind of story are we actually telling? And what does that story really say about us, right now?